Project 1.5 is called the blinking message. Now, please don't get this mixed up or confused with activity 1.3. The activities are smaller, shorter projects that will kind of gain some background knowledge for you, allow you to experience the different websites and how computer scientists use different skills and strategies. Project 1.5 is a project. It is recommended that it takes approximately 5 to 8 school days, and it should be your best work up to this point. First part, you'll notice the essential questions as always. I recommend writing those down in your notes. Materials, you're going to need the same thing you need for everything that we've done so far. Access to the website, and then the microbit, the microcontroller, and the USB cable. There is a rubric that I definitely want you to look at. This will also be something that I will use to grade your score in addition to what I look at for your notebook. So if you click on the rubric, you can download your own copy with your download arrows here. You just click on it, it goes to your downloads folder. You can drag it to your drive like usual. Here's the 4 components or parts to what the project looks like. There is a planning piece. As we've done before, you do need to read through this to figure out what needs to be done. The first part is planning. This is where you create LED planning grids, maybe a flow chart. You map out your ideas before you actually program it. Now, an advanced would be thorough planning. Here's your programming, your algorithmic thinking. Algorithms in the code mostly progress in a logical sequence, so you're not just randomly jumping around. Press A, press B, shake it, do this, do this. There's a sequence, there's a natural progression to your code. Debugging, just like we did in activity 1.4, there will be bugs in your code. What are you going to do to more or less attack those bugs, to debug your code? And you need to be able to explain to me, here was a bug, here was an issue, here's what I did. The sharing piece, this is where you're going to present your project to me. You will have everything ready. You'll have the program on the microbit. You'll have your flow chart, your planning grids. You'll have your debugging steps together. Everything is ready, and then you're going to present it to me. You can just click right here to go back. This Project 1.5 challenge, this is something you'll do after Project 1.5 is done, so you don't have to do that right away. Informative LEDs, this is going to show you that the microbit has the technology, or what you could do, the capabilities of something that would be on a bigger scale. So this might be a train stop. It might be in an airport. It might be at a bus stop or a bus station. So these lights, those are your LEDs. So you need to start to think about, what could you make a project about? Here's a great example. Those animated LED signs. It might be something at night that is going to light up based on somebody driving down the street. It could be a sensor, like a stoplight. When you go to a stoplight, the stoplight doesn't just automatically change all the time. It's based off of a pressure. So again, a lot of different ways and reasons for why you would see one of these informative LED signs out in public. Emojis. Now, the emojis is not going to have a huge impact on what you create. It's just a way to show you how technology has come along with adding things that people are interested in. Here's the blinking message project. Now, please take the time to read through this. If you are a capable hard worker, you may work with somebody else. Make sure that the focus is on the rubric and understanding what the requirements are for this project. And right here, document all project work in your notebook unless your teacher indicates otherwise. Put everything down right in your notes so I can see it. This will be a very critical part right here. Blinking message requirements. So now there's a rubric that shows you the 4 aspects of the project. Now these are going to be what your project needs to consist of. Part of the message scrolls. Now please don't just do show text string and just put a word. Challenge yourself to find a different, more creative way to do that message scrolling. You need to use letters, numbers, or symbols. You can use all 3, you can use 2, but you have to for sure use one of these. Displays at least one image. Displays at least one animation, which is a sequence of images to show movement. Now, all 4 of these, or whatever you decide to use, need to connect together. For instance, my partner and I both were big into golf. We love to golf. So our whole project dealt with golfing. Press button A, something happened with golf. If you shook the microbit, something different happened. Press B, something happened. If you tilted it one way or the other way, something else happened. So think of a project idea or theme and then start to plug in these different pieces to that. Here's what to do. What message do you want to send your friend? This is a planning exercise, basically. This is your planning grid. You can use a planning grid to map it all out. You can create a flow chart, however you want to do, but you have to have some planning done for your project. Read through the directions. Just follow it step by step. How to do it. This is where you're going to start to look at, what do I want my LEDs? What do I want the lights to do in my project? Here's when you come across debugging. When you're programming your project or your what you're creating, you then are going to come across bugs. How are you going to debug those? Right here. These are the same steps you use for activity 1.4. Spread the word. This is how you can share your program with others. Do make sure when you get to this point that you have spent an ample amount of time on your project, not an activity. Big difference for Project Lead the Way. The project should be the best of the best, the top thing you've created up to this point. And again, if it takes you 5, 6, 7, 8, I've had some students take 10, 11, 12 days on this because they were phenomenal projects. Do challenge yourself to make yourself step up for this project. There is this challenge option. You need to do the challenge option after you have presented all of Project 1.5. If there's a question with your project, if you're not sure if it's going the right way, stop in any day during win time, catch me during class. I do want you to really push hard for this. Here's an example on the MakeCode website. You can add in music, you can add in loops, logic, variables, math. There's lots of really cool things you can do. If you add in music, you will notice that there are hooks or clips. So if I put in, let's say, a ringtone here, eventually it's going to show up over here. I'm going to connect this. We'll just put this right here. Now, see how it switched? It's going to show you that you need to have cables. They're called alligator clips, and they're located in the back of our classroom. So what you can do is to test it right on your emulator right here. This is the headphone jack. There's a positive and there's a negative, so you need to figure out which is which. The ground, and it's plugged into 0. So make sure you do the exact same thing for your microbit. Now, you don't have to do music. If you're not a music person, don't do music. Find a different way to make your project very creative. When you feel like it's all the way finished, practice it and then present it to me. When all that's done, go into PowerSchool Learning and take care of Project 1.5, the assignment that's in there for you. Then come back and spend a little bit of time on this challenge option. It's called an option. I would like you to try it though. There's a video and it walks you through compass and accelerometer, 2 key features that are built into all the microbits, and you're basically just programming a compass. If you choose to do the compass, please do all 4 directions, not just the north. Now, what this piece of code says, if the compass heading is less than 45, then it will show string north. So if it's any degree besides that, it's going to show this X. Instead of showing the X, you would put in the next compass heading. So it'd say if, then, if else, it just keeps going. There's also a way to use the accelerometer, and that shows you right there. So again, finish Project 1.5, do the best you can on it, present it to me, and then move on to that project challenge. All right, thanks a lot and best of luck.